Hello, friends. Tonight we're going muckraking up in Massachusetts. All right. Did we lose Jason there? I think we did. Well,
Looks
sure
like
we'll have
it.
him back in here shortly.
I think he's gonna. He's having connection issues. He's gonna hop back in.
Gotcha.
That's fine.
We'll have Josh back here in a second too, but
Did it just go live and kick 2 people out? That's crazy.
I think it did. That's insane, but I don't know. This is going to be a fun episode. So, there's Jason.
I got him. I brought him back in, so we're not avoiding anything. So welcome to the Swampcast. You guys, organizers, up in the cold Massachusetts, and we're down here in the it's semi-cold where I'm at, but Mitch is down in warm and sunny Orlando,
in the glorious tropical paradise that is Florida.
Yeah, we can be a little jealous of him. So
we all know what it's DeSantislandia.
yeah. If you want to go that far, we don't have to go that far. That's fine. So you guys know what it's like to be organizers of the state Mises Caucus and kind of have to deal with infighting, I guess we could say the least, right? And we do too. So that's kind of going to be the topic of tonight and what's going on in Massachusetts. I watched a little bit of y'all's interview with Michael Heist last night. I had to double time it, but I just kind of want to piggyback off of that interview for the most part. And if anyone didn't watch that and they're on here, maybe you could give them a breakdown of who you are, what you've been doing, and I guess what the situation is now and what happened to catalyze this internal conflict in Massachusetts. And Mitch, do you want to talk about the drinks or something?
I was making sure that every time, I didn't want us to pass it again and then 20 minutes in be like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
well, tradition for every show, so we might as well get this out of the way now.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight I am drinking Peroni beer. So there we go.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck is Peroni? No, hold up a minute, Paul.
Italian beer. You never had this
Italian?
shit? Yeah,
no.
It's Italian. It's good.
Cheers.
It's good.
Put that up on the screen again.
It's great with pizza. I'm not even joking.
Put that up on the screen again. I gotta see this shit. Stop shaking it.
That shit looks nasty. I've never tried it.
It's good, man. You should try it. It's actually pretty good.
Try it out.
It probably tastes like Stella. I'm a pass. I'm gonna keep with the real
Stella?
king of beers, Yingling Lager, the one and only.
Mm-hmm. And a nice Sam Adams winter lager. Some good stuff.
That is such a Yankee beer. That is such a Yankee.
I'm with Dan on this one.
You would have a Sam Adams.
Of course.
I can't hate on Sam Adams, though. It's pretty good. They're pretty good.
Always a good decision.
What about Brody? Are you drinking anything?
Water. I'm actually more square than Tom Woods, so I don't drink.
That's fine.
I salute you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's we kind of have a rule on our show for a true 2-drink minimum for the hosts, but for the guests, you guys, it is optional. So
good to know.
That's funny.
To answer Leighton's question, why I'm always drinking some weird beer, it's because the liquor store by me has so much weird stuff in it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's not like ABC or something. It's
just some hole in the wall one.
I'm just gonna drink some of this vodka. I think that's about 2 shots worth, so that'll be fine. All right. So hard transition to something kind of serious. Somehow Jason's upside down though, so I can't take him. Too serious.
I don't know how that happened.
I think he's having connection issues, and that's giving him trouble.
Not a connection issue. That's funny though.
No, he's just casting from Australia. That's how it goes.
Australia. Oh, that was He's like it crashed for him. I don't think he's chatting with us in our. There we go. You're back to normal, Jason.
There we go. Okay.
All right.
So first off, you guys were saying last night in the interview with Michael Heist that you were trying not to affiliate yourselves with the Mises Caucus at all. Like you were trying to kind of do the thing, stay on wraps, just put your head down, do the work. And how did people kind of figure it out? Did they just figure it out because of your ideologies, because of your propensity to actually work and not be like a social club? Like how'd they figure that out?
I think it was all of the above. Like when we say we were like trying to, not hide our Mises affiliation, but not really like wear it on our shoulders, is because we just wanted to get work done, and we knew that like if we were outed, so to speak, as being Mises, then it would make our lives a lot harder unnecessarily. So I
Mhm.
think it was really just like I didn't compromise on principles or anything. I still held by the same positions. We talked about, like in the convention we had passed an anti-mandate resolution, or rather, it was basically generally an anti-COVID regime resolution. So we didn't like compromise on our ideals at all. And I think that probably outed us anyways, as we were newcomers, right? We're all like, look at us all right here. We're all pretty young. We're all pretty, boisterous people. And it was pretty obvious, I think, as much as we tried to just kind of get our work done. It was just like, yeah, we're the ones that come in new to the party and are very opinionated about how how the messaging of the party should go, and how we should go about things. So I think it was all the above.
So I gotta ask then, because I'm not too familiar with the situation aside from some of the main details going on out there. So if you could, for maybe some people listening as well, give us a quick rundown on what exactly happened up there in Mass and why we're here talking about it tonight.
Yeah, so like the quick, I'm gonna try and do this in like a minute and a half. So, we had a convention in March. We had started really organizing just a few months prior to that, and we had a decent representation amongst Mises people at that convention, but we still had to concede a bunch of leadership positions. We supported them because we wanted to work with them back in March, but then over the summer we started working on affiliates. So here in Middlesex County, we formed an affiliate. There's also down south, South Shore affiliate, South Shore Libertarian Party was reformed by one of our people, and really just started getting work done. And then we also decided to start doing outreach in our Twitter. One of our organizers, who unfortunately is no longer in the state, has moved out. He really wanted to, go run with the Twitter, and we decided that would be a good idea. And we were pretty. We said some controversial things on our Twitter, and that got us in hot water with the state committee, and that's really what got us on the radar at that point. We were pretty incognito up to that point, but Masha, you've had Masha on the show before, I believe. She was one of the ones that was publicly out supporting us on Twitter, and that really put a target on her back. And she wasn't quiet about it in our internal channels either, about her support of both like the caucus itself, but like just the ideals we espouse as well, and wasn't really shy about it. And they really didn't like that. Uh, so in September they kicked her out of the party unceremoniously. Much to our protest. And then the ensuing months after that, they basically hatched plans to lock down their power by drafting up what they call a code of conduct, but I actually call it a code of compliance. That more or less was a Stalin-esque paper that they would throw at any of their political enemies, political undesirables, to cast them out. And they in December they had a meeting to actually vote on this bylaw change. A bunch of members showed up. We opposed it vocally, very vocally, and with very well reasoned arguments, completely ignored. It still passed, and so we decided, along with not just Mises affiliated members, but a bunch of other people outside our direct Mises circles agreed with us that we should hold a special convention in order to select a new state committee. And there's other reasons that go along with why we think there needs to be a new state committee aside from what actually came to head through the code of compliance. Things like a member had resigned as a result of the Masha vote. State committee member had resigned over that. State committee member had moved out of state in like August or September, who should no longer be voting by our own founding documents because he lived out of state. Another member of the committee was appointed in November, kind of out of the blue. It was just a motion made by another state committee member to add Terra DeSisto to our state committee. As people may not know, Terra DeSisto is a employee of the National Libertarian Party. So we all pay her by paying national dues or donating to the national party, and here she is involved in internal party politics, and even influencing the makeup of the delegation, which of course the delegation is the actual people who decide what the makeup of the National Party is like and what the policies of the National Party is in a high level. So I think there was a huge conflict of interest there as well. So there's several reasons as to why we felt this was necessary, but it really came to head because of the code of conduct business.
Okay. I before Mitch asked you that question, I wanted to ask back on what we were saying about the messaging, or what you were saying about the messaging. That's kind of how they figured you out. Last night you were saying that there was some LP pushback whenever you guys were trying to oppose all the Boston mandates that are going on right now, all the vaccine passport mandates. So there's pushback within the state LP about the Boston vaccine passports and
Yeah, they
mandates.
gave you an example. If you go to the LPMAS Twitter right now, I believe the day after, or even immediately after, or somewhere really nearby where they allegedly expelled 47 members, they posted the pandemic is not over, but mandates are not okay, which was just like, okay, what? Like, okay, like it's just very weak messaging. It's just like mandates are not okay. Like, okay, sure. I mean, killing children
I
in
saw that.
Afghanistan is not okay, Mr. Government. You know, like that. It just wasn't very strong language. And internally, we had suggested, like Thomas Edlin is the chair of the South Shore Libertarian Party. Very, very. A lot of respect for him. He wrote up great materials on basically anti-COVID materials, like anti-mandate materials, especially really in relation to schooling and children. And he posted this in our internal Slack channel, to share amongst libertarians here. And instead of being, congratulated for his good work, or like saying, hey, this is good stuff, or like, hey, here's how you can improve it, or whatnot, one of the state committee members is like, not okay with this, basically. And they responded with an article that, in my opinion, amounts to an advertisement for Pfizer. I did not appreciate it very much. I mean, I know people have their opinions on what the vaccines are. I know I personally try to stay out of that debate as much as I can.
This was a blog post? There's a blog post, you said?
Yeah. So you can go to lpmas.org and onto the blog channel. I think it's lpmas.org/blog or something. Let's see, media blog. Yeah, you go to media on the channel on it. It's on vaccine passports. Is that the one? Yeah. It's the one from December 2nd. It just it focused way too much on like conceding the point that like, oh, maybe these vaccines are okay, which is totally outside the what you wanted to actually debate on, and it just felt off. I'll say it's not the most awful thing LPMAS has produced, but it just didn't feel really appropriate, and especially as it was pretty much a response to Thomas Edlim's September post. If you go down a bit farther, to their credit, they did post Thomas's blog from earlier. So if you scroll down a little bit farther, you'll see Thomas Edlin's post, Australia: The Danger of Elected
This one.
Totalitarianism.
Thomas.
Yeah. So I mean, more or less, the idea is that in internal channels and somewhat publicly, the state party was very, very hesitant, or very like not willing to be vocal about COVID tyranny specifically, because a lot of them internally kind of implicitly agreed with what was going on. Like I had somebody straight up tell me that the lockdowns in March of 2020 were voluntary, which was word for word what our governor said here, that, oh, these lockdowns would have happened anyways because everybody would have been scared and not gone out, which is, patently false, right? Even the first 2 weeks, it was pretty obvious what this thing was. It wasn't airborne Ebola or anything like that. This member who was on the state committee claimed that, yeah, these lockdowns were voluntary and things of that sort. So I mean, it's this type of messaging that kept myself out of the party for the longest time. I've been I became philosophically libertarian sometime in college, and started exploring like, okay, what groups agree with the way I think. And I saw the Libertarian Party, and it's like, that's not really what I imagine libertarians to look like or to sound like. And then as I started exploring more and found the Mises Caucus, I was like, oh, that's why. There's this long history of how the libertarian brand has kind of been co-opted by people who I think aren't very libertarian. by and large. I know there's good libertarians in the Libertarian Party currently, and they're doing good things, but by and large, the messaging of the party, as you know, has been absolutely atrocious for a long time. I looked up the history of LPMAS recently, and it's a similar story. Early 2000s, fantastic candidates, doing really well. About around 2005, 2010, messaging changes, and party has never been the same since. So it's a lot of that bad messaging that kept me out that is reflected today. That the National Party, same thing. It took them 18 months to even mention that there were bad things going on with the government in terms of the government and COVID. So yeah, a lot of hesitancy internally on even speaking out about mandates.
That's kind of the feeling I had. So do you regret? This is a question kind of coming from the internal side of me too. Do you regret working with some of these people, or like allowing yourself to work with some of these people, going to like last year's convention, or not running people against them, and like trying to work with them?
I do kind of regret not running people. Like, a lot of us are brand new to the party. Like, I joined, like, before last convention, I had only been a member of the party, like, just over a year. I'm new. I was super new back then to, like, I kind of ease myself when I ever start something new. I was easing myself and getting to know people and things like that. I was going to go to the 2020 convention, but kind of rage quit because it was canceled. Like, ours was in March, and all the COVID stuff happened, and they canceled the in-person one. So I'm like, I'm not going to show up to some virtual meeting with people I don't know. I want to meet people in person. So I kind of rage quit on that one. So it's like my first convention ever. So I do regret not running people because we could have maybe got a position, maybe two, to like maybe make things not so bad. But do I regret not working with these people? I know that's hard to say. Like I'm a Christian by religion, and I believe in giving people their their chance to kind of do the right thing. So I don't regret that. Like I feel like I tried to work with them, like honestly. It just didn't work out, right? So now here we are. They've kind of expressed or acted in a way that really has outed themselves as being dishonest people. So I don't regret trying to having worked with them, or at least tried to. I do regret the fact that they decided to do what they did. I wish it had gone some other way.
I gotta highlight this one. That's funny. Now you know. I mean, I know Josh is sitting back going, "Fucking shit." Josh is in our guy Josh, not Josh Smith, but yeah. And Dan and Jason, I hope Jason, I hope your connectivity problems are well behind. But these questions are for you guys too. Feel free to jump in at any time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Oh, great. No, yeah, my connection sucks, but yes, Brodi summarized it really well, so I'll just leave it at that. So far, he's from the beginning to the end, what happened, what went down, and our disappointment. Brodi and I started this sort of right before the March 2021 convention. As he said, we had about 10 guys show up, but that's pretty good for just a short time being organized, and it represented almost a third of the folks at that convention that were Mises or Mises friendly. And even in those small numbers, we were able to get a anti-mandate resolution started, not without some no votes from the eventual people that tried to kick us out on Monday. And we drafted that on the spot from Tom Edlam, as Brodi said. And back then, we weren't explicitly Mises. We weren't trying to advertise as such, but as the months wore on, it became increasingly clear they had a sort of a closed down clique mentality. They started trying to pass bylaws, and eventually did so on affiliate formation. And we were the ones exclusively starting new affiliates over the summer and into the fall. So they sort of had a knee-jerk reaction to that and tried to pass a bylaw that was unnecessarily restrictive. And you know, the bylaw, the affiliates are supposed to be the bread and butter. That's what sparks new activities in these far-flung regions. I mean, we're a small state, but I'm sure Connecticut has 8 affiliates now, and I'm sure Texas and Florida have multiple more than that. So we were trying to get that going, and we instantly got pushback.
Mm-hmm. That's terrible.
It's
And
tragic.
yeah, we haven't had pushback with regard to affiliate. I wouldn't say it's pushback necessarily. We've had a little bit of pushback, but I think once we get the documents,
A little?
well, yeah, because it's like
A
once we
little?
get the documents straightened out, it'll
we
be
had
fine.
someone requested the whole state EC resign, Rob. That's
I
not
know.
a little pushback.
I was there, but I'm saying like we all voted for, like everyone voted to affiliate the county. Like no one didn't vote besides you know.
Listen,
So
if I might real quickly, what I'm hearing from Mass, you know, we are a small party. We are literally listed as other. We might be the 3rd largest party, but it is by a big gap. If they're making it harder for new affiliates to come in, that just seems counterproductive. Just
Completely.
as someone outside looking in.
mhm.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said in the meetings, and Thomas Edlin hammers this point home all the time. It's like they're really walking down on their small club mentality, and really to the detriment of the growth of the party, even though they claim that we're the ones damaging the party. I mean, like, we've grown the party significantly even in the past year, and we're just getting started, right? That's what's like having zero formal power on the state committee and not being able to control their messaging. I can't imagine how well we would do if we could tell all the libertarians here that have been staying away from the party because it's had such crap messaging for so long that, hey, things are about to change, and you're gonna, you can actually be proud of what we're, saying from the state accounts, right? And I'm hopeful for the future on that end, but it's just unfortunate that they want to have that small club mentality. I'm not gonna try and speculate too much as to why they think that. I have my ideas as to why, but it's really unfortunate that we're kind of in the situation where they really are, willing to go to extreme lengths, even outright corruption, to prevent the natural growth of the party.
Mm-hmm. It's a pattern too. It's like this is what is this, the 7th state where there's been some shady stuff going on to kind of oust Mises people.
I can't even keep track. So Vermont is having issues. New Mexico. Let's see. Wyoming,
Delaware,
New Hampshire, of course, was the poster child for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's at least 5. We're 6, and then us 6. There's probably another one I'm forgetting.
5,
somewhere.
okay.
A lot of problems.
I mean, I know Iowa's having problems, but I don't know if that's.
Oh, is Iowa too?
Mises.
Yeah.
But it's not. I don't think that's Mises.
Oh, Arizona. Arizona is recently.
Arizona.
Had issues too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I mean, we're just gonna see the end game at convention, I think, but that at national convention, but that worries me a little bit, as far as how much. I'm gonna say it again: how much pushback we get in every state, and I'm gonna highlight Leighton's older comment right here. Push it real good.
Push it to the limit.
I really want a whole bunch of sound bites from the campaign because they'd be highly applicable. That's one of my favorite movies. Okay, is there anything else that you want to put out there with regards to this situation? Otherwise, we can get to some more, like, some news, and we can get into like LP stuff and just kind of free flow it.
I mean, there's so much. I gave the lightning update. A lot of we talked about with Heist, and we were all also on the System is Down podcast, where I was with Janelle, who was one of the state committee members who was allegedly removed as well.
Did you say I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that dance mods. No, it's great. I had a good time. I'm trying to think. Is there anything at Dan and Jason? What else are we missing that should be out there? Our future plans? Oh, I guess it's a big thing. You guys want to talk about what we're gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You gonna fight him? You gonna fight Ashley Shade? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, we're legalize
She quit.
consensual
She quit.
duels. Yes. She did quit.
She's gone.
Yeah,
right?
that's,
Silver lining.
She's
done.
gone.
Is it official?
Good.
Is it real? Did it
It's
happen?
official. Yeah, she sent it out in a letter.
Was it due to the conflict in state law that you alluded to in the episode last night?
That was
I
her
don't really
direct
know why.
stated reason, but I mean, I think it was partially to save face, and it was a legal requirement. But
Yeah.
we also found out that that law also stipulates that candidates and elected officials. So when
Right.
she announced her candidacy in
Okay.
April, she should have resigned then.
It automatically cut her part as or her spot as chair, right? It should have legally
It
cut
should have.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, ethically speaking, and by general parliamentary rule, she pretty much wasn't chair that entire time.
Mhm.
That's what we're arguing from our end. We have, our parliamentarian is writing up a fine response to the state committee for us on that matter.
Nice.
But yeah, so what we are doing in response to this is we've announced as of yesterday, and anybody who knows anybody in Massachusetts, especially a dues-paying member, as of yesterday, right? Was it not yesterday or was it the day before?
It was the crack of midnight last night. Yeah.
Last night, yeah, the 13th. So we announced that we are having our special convention, as was called in our special convention petition. We, the members, are organizing it because the state committee has abandoned their duties to do so. So we are holding our special convention as planned on February 12th, and it'll be held electronically. Our idea with this is we also have an appeal with the LNC on the 23rd. So we want to see how that goes first before we worry too much about the convention on the 12th. But we do have a convention plan for the 12th. And we're looking to get the word out to all dues-paying members that were dues-paying members as of yesterday to go and participate in that convention. And we're gonna the ideal with this convention is to elect a new state committee to better represent the membership as we had originally planned with the petition.
Right. So now that we've seen this happen in a bunch of states, I mean, obviously you guys have been the most recent one where, fuckery has become abound. Would there be any suggestions from you guys on best practices or, hey, based on what we experience, this is how to avoid this in your state or where you're at? Because it seems like they're starting with smaller states, but eventually they're going to work their way out to the bigger ones like New York, Texas, Florida, California, etc.
Stay vigilant.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Definitely want to know your bylaws and constitution and use that to your advantage. Because, I mean, these guys have done so many things that have violated the bylaws and the Constitution. With doing all of this, I mean, there's absolutely nothing that specifies that they can just boot out 47 members all at one time. There's absolutely nothing in our bylaws or Constitution that constitutes that whatsoever as being something that, the state committee has the power to do. And so, we're not recognizing this as legitimate whatsoever. I mean, for a multitude of reasons, like we already said. But yeah, I would just be prepared for every single dirty trick and every bit of fuckery to be thrown your way. But, if you know your bylaws and the Constitution, we should be able to overcome all these dirty tricks. I really don't think that there's any way this is going to stand. I just can't see it. So hopefully we do get relief from the LNC. If we don't, we do have other options for recourse. So we'll do what we need to do to make it work. But, I really feel confident with the missteps by the state committee that we're going to be able to come out on top here.
So if I might kind of ask then, that's the big thing that I've heard the most about is the 47 people getting, purged. And what exactly was their excuse for this? Because that's quite the big feat there. I mean, did they just assume everyone was Mises Caucus? Because I've seen posts from people who aren't members of the Mises Caucus who have apparently been affected by this.
Yeah, so Ashley Shade sent out an email kind of explaining their reasoning, and we also have the minutes from that meeting, and they detail some of the explanation in those minutes. Essentially is what it is as what you said. They claim that, their first name is that the people who signed this petition were asked to join the party explicitly to pull off this maneuver, so-called maneuver. They claim this first without any evidence, right? They can't know the thoughts of all 47 signatories, but whatever, that's their claim. They also claim that this was also led by a hostile organization, which they identify the Mises Caucus, and they love to use, it's actually the Mises PAC, but well, Llama itself, our state party itself, is also a PAC, so it doesn't make much sense. So claiming it was a hostile organization orchestrating this, and therefore they were justified in defending the party by ejecting those 47 members. And the funny thing is that about just over a quarter of the signatories were people that we had talked to. Like I had gone out to a county affiliate meeting who doesn't have a lot of Mises members in it, and I had talked to these people, right? Like, I was like, hey guys, here's who, this is who I am. I'm a libertarian, you're a libertarian, let's chat. And I was like, this is my worry about what's going on in the state party, and this is why I'm worried. And they're like, yeah, we have those same reservations. And they're like, and I was like, hey, how about we do this? And they're like, which was the special convention. And they're like, well, let's hold off. Let's see what they do. And I was like, okay, I'll give you guys a month. And that's what we did. And they did exactly what I had predicted, what I had said in that meeting. I was like, they're going to do this. And they're like, okay, let's give them their chance. And they did that. And then to the other members' credit, they held to their promise and were like, yeah, we'll sign that petition. We have those worries. They signed the petition, but they were not associated. Like they hadn't come to our, they weren't coming to our Mises meetings. They really, I had gone to their meeting to give my spiel about why I was worried, and they were convinced by my arguments. And these are also reservations that they had identified even before I had talked to them. So they were really explicitly not Mises, and they had their own reasoning, but they were lumped in with us and called these interlopers and these Republican insurgents or washouts, whatever words they like to use, and kicked out with the rest of us. So yeah, they did lump us in together, even though over a quarter of the signatories were not even on our roster.
Wow. So just blatant disregard for just facts, or they're not even...
facts. Like a fundamental tenet of libertarianism, which is individualism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Individuals act and think. The great Misesism
or due process.
of people act, or due process.
Or
that
due
too,
process. Yeah.
No notification to any of the members beforehand that this was going to happen. I had brought it up. We were talking before the meeting. Once we figured out it was a closed session, and I brought it up. It was like, what if they just want to boot everybody out that signed the petition? And I mean, these guys said, they didn't give any notice. There's nothing that says they can do that. And sure as hell, as soon as it was over, Tara, my daughter's coming in here, so she might scream in a minute. She just wandered in. But yeah, I mean, I had a gut feeling that it was going to happen, and they were just going to run with it. And sure as hell, Charlie Larkin called me right after the meeting was over and let me know, we've all just allegedly been expelled out of nowhere.
Wow.
I was shocked. It was, I mean, we really didn't expect it. I kind of
predicted it. We predicted it, but it was really shocking to see firsthand.
But yeah,
and it was an about face. It was an about face for what they'd been with this code of conduct, so-called. They had just inserted a part of that document that has a little bit about due process. And when they just passed that, in December. And so when Dan brought that to my attention, his suspicion, I said, well, no, they can't do that. They just passed this thing that they're preening about and bragging about this thing where, yes, you can't overstep any sort of transgression. It's a complete puritanical piece of garbage, but they have this little thing in it about due process. And yet when it came to us, just for putting together that petition, they said, well, that doesn't apply. The due process part of that doesn't apply. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. And, we were by no means hostile to these people in any way. I mean, we just came in here and wanted to actually get some real work done. They've been silent on the COVID regime. I mean, they don't really say a whole lot in general. When they do, they're making a blog post about how safe and effective these vaccines are and stupid shit like that. I mean, it's that thing sounds like it's written by a Pfizer rep. You know, we came in here wanting to get some real work done and return libertarianism to Massachusetts. I mean, it's a party of 204, 205 members in the state of 6 million, and they just allegedly chopped almost 25% of that in one swoop. You know, talk about validating the membership's concerns just like that. I mean, it didn't even take a month after the code of conduct was passed for them to do this.
I mean, with what you're talking about with validating the concerns, it's funny you say that, because when I'm seeing this, I feel like I've been saying this a lot looking at situations like this, but it's that quote from The Art of War: never interrupt your enemy when they make a very big mistake. Because that seems to be what's happening here. They've absolutely shot themselves in the foot with people who aren't even necessarily Mises Caucus.
Josh hit
Yeah,
you with
yeah.
that.
I gotta say, the people who were, had agreed with us, like our reasoning for, why we should be concerned about the makeup of the state committee, they're even more impassioned than us about like fighting back the narrative. Like I see them all over places fighting the narrative on all fronts about like why this was necessary, why they're not Mises, and why it doesn't really even matter that a bunch of us were signed on to it for Mises. So yeah, there are good libertarians that we worked with here. Two of them on the state committee. So when I say state committee, I don't include those two that worked with us closely. They were like friendly to us, right? That didn't when we showed up, they didn't run away and scream at the top of their lungs that the racists and the bigots had showed up to desecrate the fine Libertarian Association of Massachusetts. They're out there defending us, not us, but defending what we are doing I think more strongly than the Mises guys are, because they were really wronged, right? They're straight lied about in terms of like they're not even Mises, right? And they're trying to Ashley Shade and others are trying to weave this narrative that this is some type of covert takeover or some type of hostile organization trying to take over the Libertarian Association of Massachusetts, which is kind of funny to me because, like, I mean, the Libertarian brand is quite unknown, and Llama itself is like worthless in its current state. And only libertarians would want that organization. Like, only libertarians would want to get involved that really felt passionately about using the Libertarian Party brand to try and bring about liberty in our lifetime. Only libertarians would care about that. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, some stupid Trumpers aren't going to care about Libertarian Party enough to like sit down in those like 4-hour XCOM meetings on Monday evenings. Like, nobody nobody that doesn't actually care about liberty is going to sit down and do that. But we had people that did that, right? That on both sides that sit down and go through the minutia of forming affiliates. Like, I sat down for hours and wrote bylaws for our local affiliate because the ones the outline they gave me were not very good. So I searched around to the Connecticut affiliates. The Mises guys down there really helped me out, helped me draft some bylaws. But I sat down and drafted some bylaws so that we could have a proper organization, so that we could have a local affiliate for like libertarians to meet up and like go to a restaurant together, actually get to know each other, talk about issues, start forming what we call issue coalitions, where we like go out and work with other organizations that don't really align with us in most respects, but like in one aspect they do, like drug decrim or like anti-war stuff. Like we in our local affiliate here in Middlesex, one of our guys is really passionate about Defend the Guard, about preventing the forever wars. I know we're kind of out of those right now, but those will come back at any time unless we do something to prevent them. So he's really passionate about that, and that's what we're working on as a local affiliate. But that wouldn't have happened unless we had people on the ground meeting each other. And something that I always say that I like to bring up is I joined the party just over 2 years ago now, or just around 2 years ago at this point. And they have not had a physical meetup in those 2 years. I've never gotten an email from the state party saying, hey guys, if you live here, we're going to go have beers at this bar in Boston or something like that. I had to go all the way to Connecticut to meet my first Libertarians because they're the only people. I think I went out to like Hartford or something way back in like 2020 to like meet some guys over there because they weren't doing it here. I think Pat Ford is the first Libertarian I met. He had like an intro for new members in like Rhode Island, Massachusetts area, but that was the only thing. It wasn't the state party has zero type of onboarding experience. When Jason can attest to this, when we had the first meeting at his house, the first Mises Caucus meeting to meet everybody, just over a year ago, we met up and people were like, "Oh, hey, what's your position in the state party?" I'm like, I'm just a member. I'm like nobody in the state party. People thought that I was from the state party because I was the first Libertarian that had reached out to them ever. Right? There's a guy who's a lifetime member who's been a member since like 2005. Never has had really any outreach to him and to speak up in the state party. So like the organization is just not doing well, very lethargic, and we were trying to change that. It's not like we're complaining about it and doing nothing. Like I saw that as a real issue. I thought it'd be good to have a local meetups, and so that's what I was like. Oh, I'll form a local affiliate and we'll have local meetups. But I knew that if they knew my my what type of libertarian I was, more Austro-libertarian, kind of Ron Paulian, the party establishment wouldn't like that too much. So I just went about my work as quietly as I could and did what I could. But eventually it came to a head, right? Like you can't hide from your own messaging too much, and it became obvious after a while. Plus, we're the only ones doing work, so made it pretty obvious.
Yeah, it makes it pretty obvious. I mean, I think once you do get involved, though, especially because the Libertarian Party is so small, it gives you opportunities to get in. Like Josh and I got into the executive committee and stuff like that fairly easily, and that's a story for anyone who ever watches this podcast or watches any libertarian political podcast. Like, you can get involved very easily. 90% of it is literally just showing up. That's literally it.
I can attest to that too.
The other 10%.
I think it was at the end of the summer. I joined the mailing list. These guys reached out to me. I'm in the Pioneer Valley, so that's towards the western part of Massachusetts, and there is absolutely zero liberty movement out this way until I started putting together the Pioneer Valley affiliate, which we're actually going to have our formation meeting tomorrow. So we're getting things started all across the state, getting these affiliates going. How
many counties do you? Sorry to interrupt, but Massachusetts is so small. It's like how many?
It is pretty small, yeah.
Potential affiliates could you have? So how many counties?
So I think Berkshire County has one. Just east of that is the Pioneer Valley. So that encompasses 3 counties: Franklin, Hampden, and Hampshire counties in Massachusetts are going to make up the Pioneer Valley affiliate. So that's from the northern to the southern part of the state in like the central west area. It's a pretty big area. I mean, ideally we want to grow the membership to the point where each county can have its own affiliate. That would be great. That way we can really be working on things on a county by county basis, really getting the work done on a local basis. That's the plan for the long term anyway. Things are going good out here. We've had 1 unofficial and 2 official meetings. And every meeting that I've held so far, the amount of people that have come out have doubled. It was just me and 1 other member, the first one, then we had 4, then we had 6, and then the meeting for tomorrow, we're expecting like 8 to 12 people to show up. So,
nice.
We're slowly but surely growing, and this is over a month by month period. I mean, if we can put this kind of growth together in a string here, we can really start a strong liberty movement out here. And I mean, in Massachusetts, the GOP basically doesn't exist. It is a completely dead, useless party. So we have a real opportunity to insert our ideals into the public discourse out here and really grow the liberty movement.
Yeah, maybe steal some of those people who are like, I'll run as Republican. It's like,
Right.
You're going to lose anyway, so why don't you just
Right.
join the real party?
That's the idea, right?
Wait, are you confirming that we're all Republican insurgents? So
Those damn,
Yes.
that damn
Depends on who you ask.
That damn
Indeed.
Massachusetts Republican Party is stealing votes from the LP.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, for real, I feel like because the GOP is so weak and such a damaged brand here, that there is a real opening for the Libertarian Party. But you have to be real libertarians here. You can't be the whole. Actually, we're just the fun other party that kind of agrees with everything corporate media spits out, but we're cooler type thing. You know, we're the corporate media with sunglasses on or something.
We're social
something like
justice
that.
warriors, but we're resisting.
Yeah. Well, no, you have to be. I think there's, especially in Western Mass. I mean, those people are based out there. Boston, maybe not, but
Way more based out this way,
Worcester,
yeah.
Worcester and West. I think there is especially an opportunity out there. You know, the working class is especially disenfranchised with how things are going, and this is true across the country, right? This is why I think Trump really hit the tone with a lot of people. He really spoke to the working class and, you know, kind of a populist movement. But now I think the Libertarian Party can tap into that by preaching Ron Paulian principles. I mean, like, who popularized saying "end the Fed"? Right? You know, it was Ron Paul, and that's something that speaks to regular, everyday people that are damaged by the policies of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay. So, would you say the people in charge right now of LPMAS who did the kicking out, the aggressors here, would you say
Whoa.
they are
Whoa.
they're aggressors? They violated the
It's
NAP.
not LPMAS, it's Llama.
Llama. Okay, sorry, Llama. Would they lean more towards Democrat or Republican? Would you say? Because I heard you talking last night, again in the Michael Heiss interview, and you were saying that there were some Republicans trying to infiltrate the LP.
No,
No, I
that's
don't
what they
think
claim.
refer
That's
to
what they
us
claim
as.
about us.
Oh, okay. I
We
see,
are the
I see.
Republican insurgents.
Yeah.
All right. No,
Even though
I
yeah.
gotta say,
They're big time
So-
lefties.
big
Um,
time
I got-
leftist. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Ashley Shade, big time lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, to put it into context, Ashley Shade, I can pull up the post real quick, but the gist of it is that in her city council race in North Adams, one of the pressing issues for her was that the police and fire station were not up to ADA code, and because they were built when women were when it was not as common for women to be firemen or policemen people. That the city of North Adams needed to allocate more funding to build women's bathrooms for those facilities.
For tampon holders, right?
So, I mean, I don't think that's the most
Why are you looking at me like that, Mitch?
no, I'm not. I'm not
Okay.
looking at you. I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm just reacting to it. Thinking
Yeah,
like,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
That's very libertarian. We need
It's
to
crazy.
spend more government money on some shit.
Yeah, so it
So
just wasn't
libertarian.
very libertarian messaging, in my opinion. Like,
Or logical.
I get that local races are weird, but to contrast this, you can look up Andrew Cordio. He ran for mayor. He's a Mises Caucus guy. Has been shown up. He has shown up since the beginning. He ran in Fitchburg as mayor, and you should look up his. He had a debate with this fat cat Democrat mayor that he was running against, and he just wipes the floor with him. But in a very it's still small town politics, but in a very libertarian-esque manner. Basically just calling the question the absurd spending.
What's his name?
Andrew Cordio. Yeah, it's Cordio for mayor. I'm not certain how to get a hold of his debate. I think it's on YouTube. He had this local debate with this fat cat mayor he's running against, and
Fitchburg is the town.
Fitchburg, Mass.
Mhm.
And he wipes the floor with this dude, in my opinion. But doesn't espousing libertarian principles. It's not like he was hey, we need more funding for the bathrooms over here or something, slightly less authoritarian. He really was calling into question, why did you allocate $40 million to build a new city hall in the middle of, really an economic crisis due to government lockdowns, and our roads are crap. You haven't, this money is supposed to go to the roads. They're not even building the roads, my roads type thing. And so I mean, just to contrast those two, right? Where this really outstanding candidate that was ignored by the state committee, in my opinion. There's a lot of controversy around that too, because one state committee member did find out who was friendly with us, and he tried to inform the rest of the state committee, and they completely ignored him. so there's a lot of issues in relation to conflicts of interest, in relation to party resources allocated to Ashley Shade's campaign. If you go again to the LPMAS Twitter, you'll see that her campaign was very well advertised. But was there a peep about Andrew Cordio's campaign or anybody else campaigning around the state? No. And a lot of local, like state committee attention was on her campaign, which I see as a conflict of interest as well.
I mean, that's about all that I've seen them promote since I got here. It's about it, is Ashley Shade's campaign. That's all that they post about. I mean, and I think, I know Janelle was a comms director, and I know she wanted to try really hard and get some good messaging out there, but I remember her saying anything that she ever wanted to post would need to be approved by Ashley first. She basically locked down the social media accounts so that they couldn't even get any good messaging out there.
Yeah, I was told by Janelle that so remember Dan Smott's produced anti-mandate video, I think August or September. Janelle went to post that, and she was told that was Mises propaganda and that she couldn't post it.
Jesus Christ.
So, if I could, real quickly, it's funny that what I'm getting from you guys is that they really have pushed Ashley Shade a lot, and it's funny you're saying that because I'm not completely unversed with everything going on, and Ashley Shade, I feel like I've seen the most of her, at least online and everything like that. These other people who you're bringing up, that's phenomenal, and I'm going to look into them more. But unfortunately, I don't recall ever seeing them at all, and that's. I can see how there could be issues with that. It's almost like there's backroom politics going on in a situation like that, where whoever is the the popular person.
Yeah, I think it's just it's also demonstrative of the kind of social club, small atmosphere attitude that the current Libertarian Association of Massachusetts has. It's been the small club for 15 plus years. They kind of just have the same type of ideology. They've never really questioned the corporate narrative, kind of beltway type libertarians, and they've been comfortable with it. And these new guys come along that really don't fit that paradigm. We're all kind of young and dumb and say stupid things on the internet sometimes, but we are passionate libertarians, and I think we scared them to some extent by the fact that we don't fit that mold. We really don't.
And more people that signed our petition, more people that signed the petition were even at the last convention. So our numbers have grown from 10 to well over 47. I mean, we could have gotten a lot more signatures on that petition, but we just wanted to get it in quick. So we only spent about 4 or 5 days around the state getting those. And if I told you what our master list consists of and how many members we got there, Llama members that we've recruited or have come to us and have shown interest and signed up on their own or with a little assistance from us, but mostly on their own. I mean, this was, as Brodi said, this was startling to them. So they'll say that it was they'll label it a Mises takeover and all this bullcrap, but it was clear they couldn't last. They couldn't make it to convention. And these people that have been on power on the committee that have friends that fund their reelection and keep it a little social club, they knew the winds were changing. They could see the tea leaves, and that was crystal clear. So they had to take this desperate action. And as you said, I hope it flies back in their face and that there are repercussions, and that all this gets aired out when the LNC meets on the 23rd.
Right. We really tried to avoid this for, as much as possible. But they instantly validated our concerns with the potential for the document to be used as a purge document by allegedly booting these 47 people. And so that just kind of shows you the people that we're dealing with. For anybody that's, wondering why with 2 months before convention we would call for the special convention. Well, I mean, we pretty much knew that these people were going to go ahead and use this and abuse it. So they left us with absolutely no other option than to go ahead and put put together that petition for the special convention.
Well, I wish you guys all the best of luck. I think everything's gonna go well. Like you said, this was kind of a move out of desperation, right? So, like Josh always tells us, it's growing pains. It's what comes with being successful and being a thorn in the side of everything that we don't like.
I just got back, but on the tail end of that, I must also add, if video games have taught me anything, if you're encountering enemies, that means you're going the right way.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Well, I have to ask one question though, because I'm very, very curious. How did you guys end up with the name Llama as your abbreviation? Why not just the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts? Like, I've never heard this story properly, and I need to know. Like, I need to know why you're not just the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts. Why are you the association?
Okay, Jason, Dan, either you want to handle this or I can?
No,
Okay.
you can.
I'm going to try and do my best. I'm going to try and do my best. Okay, so as you know,
That's all I can ask for.
Massachusetts is kind of a state of hellhole. So there's a lot of regulations around parties. Specifically, the two parties have kind of carved themselves a very nice, cushy position for being major parties. And so around 2008, 2010, George Phillies, who is one of our resident libertarians, or somebody who claims he's a libertarian. I don't know if you know George Phillies. He's kind of a controversial figure and hates Mises' guts. But anyways, George Phillies felt like it was the responsible thing to do to rename the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts to the Libertarian Association of Massachusetts as an organization. So the Libertarian Association of Massachusetts is a PAC, a political action committee. It's not a party, legally speaking, in Massachusetts, because we're a minor party. But when we are a major party, meaning we get more than 3% of the vote in, I believe, a government in a gubernatorial race, or a year that there is a gubernatorial race, there is a separate entity started up, organized by the state of Massachusetts, called the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts. And this thing is legally defined by the state of Massachusetts and legally regulated by Massachusetts. It has ridiculous rules that every Senate district has to have a representative that is a male and a female that sits on the executive committee of that party. So Llama is actually a private PAC, a private organization, and the party, this thing we call the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts, is the legal structure formed by the state of Massachusetts when we achieve major party status. So that's why they're like technically separate entities, and why we call ourselves something differently. Because if we were to call ourselves the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts, at least the argument was in 2010 by George Phillies that we would get ourselves into legal trouble, because technically the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts is a statutory party regulated by the state of Massachusetts, or the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, whatever you want to call it.
That's a great explanation. I mean,
it all goes back to the government. It's the government's fault, basically.
Yeah, it is the government's fault. I'm also on this account, so whenever Mitch goes out his pictures of me and Kane, that's pretty funny. Anyway, so once you become that major party, you have to have equal number of men and women on the board. That's interesting. It's a
So what happens is, I think our bylaws state that the initial XCOM is set by the XCOM of Llama. I don't know the legal reasoning as to why we can do that, but after there's elections, so like you actually have to you vote for all these XCOM members in like an election year. So it's every 2 years. So you have to go down to like whatever your local school and vote for these XCOM members when you're a major party. And as to the legal entity that is Llama will still exist, and that's the affiliate of the National Party. That doesn't transfer to LPMA as far as I'm aware. That still lies with Llama, and its association doesn't transfer to the statutory party. But yeah, it's really confusing, and I don't know if I'm entirely right in that. It's just like what I've studied and like tried to understand and try to like get out of George Philly's, like, hey, why is it this way? But it's
Mhm.
super confusing. It has to do with the fact that the Democrat and Republican parties have carved themselves very nice rules, especially the Democrat Party here have carved themselves very favorable rules into law that basically means that they can dictate how other parties' internal structure works.
Makes sense. Tim asks, has the distinction in names made any tangible differences in terms of compliance with state regulation or operation of the party? And I want to add, has it made any differences with how like LP National deals with you guys at all?
Not that I know of. I'm fairly new to the party. I've not had an executive committee role yet. From what I've seen, no, because we still advertise ourselves. Like all our Twitter pages, Facebook pages still use Libertarian Party of Massachusetts. It's just like the like PAC itself is named the Libertarian Association to kind of avoid this legal issue. So I think the answer is generally no. It's just like was a legal maneuver by George Phillies to make sure that the state of Massachusetts didn't bark down our throats for calling ourselves a party.
Tim, yeah, she make you could count. Can you count her as both or either or?
Half of each.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You just violated the code of conduct, sir. You're expelled.
yeah, you're out. You're out of here.
I'm just
Yeah.
asking questions.
Too bad we're not
because I
living in
don't know.
Massachusetts.
You can't ask questions. That's against the rules too, Dan. Out.
No questions.
Mass adopting
That was
the
a-
British policy.
That was a macro aggression.
Fucking Italian beer, bro. I'm telling you.
You drank.
Don't
You
do
had
that.
one beer.
An empty stomach too.
Yeah. Isn't drinking vodka fun, Brody?
Oh, super fun. If I knew what it felt like.
This is the home of the Boston Tea Party.
No, it's not. There's a
Oh,
reason
no.
I don't drink vodka anymore.
Yeah, I had an idea for like
You're
a
just
like a
retarded.
libertarian.
I'm assuming it's the same reason why me and Mr.
Oops,
Jack
I
Daniels
was
don't hang.
what kind of sentence ends in Mitch? I'm joking. I had an idea for a libertarian like national event in Boston though. Just reenact the Boston Tea Party every single year at some point.
I'd be down.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
Honestly, that would be something that could draw eyes.
that's what I'm saying. It'd be fun. Except we do it. We could do it with something that's taxed heavily now. We could just start pouring gas and oil into the Boston Harbor now. Like polluting. That'd
Fuck
make
your
everyone mad.
environment.
Make everyone mad, dude.
Nuke the
Stuck
gay
at Green
rails for
Party.
Jesus.
Do you guys
Who
have
would
a green
sponsor
party
us?
up there?
Yeah, they do because I was looking at the website. They have like 3,000 people, and the green it said Rainbow Party though, so
a Green Party member.
it's like green
It's
slash
the Rainbow Party?
Rainbow
Green
Party up
Rainbow
there.
Party.
Yeah,
Green
I
Rainbow
don't know.
Party.
The Green
I always thought the
Rainbow.
Green Party was the Watermelon Party.
I'm pretty sure we have a Pirates Party too, or something like that here.
That's racist.
What, the Watermelon Party?
the butt pirates, baby.
Butt Pirate Party?
That's bigoted.
That's pronounced
That's-
Democrat.
Well, since if you're anti-vax mandate, you're already racist, misogynist, homophobic, transphobic, so it's fine. You get lumped in with
I
everything
don't
if
know.
you're
It
against this
depends on
COVID
what Black Lives
mandate.
Matter chapter you're talking to.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, that is weird. I've been listening to different like Black Lives Matter people debating like Candace Owens or debating just being on different things, and some guys like not our chapter. We don't do it like that. And I'm like, huh. That is a little distinction. I mean, it makes sense because that's how a lot of organizations work. But at the same time, it's like, you got a whole big organization that's like saying that's how they're going. So kind of going against the grain there,
made
bud.
the news a couple months back because they like violently protested a business because they kicked out like Black patrons because they wouldn't show their vaccination passport, and they called vaccination passports racist and white supremacy. So I mean, which is it now, Rob? Is being anti-vax mandate white supremacy, or is being pro-vaccine mandate white supremacy? Do I have to show my papers or not? What's white supremacy, Rob?
I thought this was America.
You're not a
Huh?
lawyer. I
This
don't
is
want you.
America. I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
I don't know. This is, my cannot.
Don't hit me
cannot
with the
compute-
soundboard. Answer the
That was
question.
the best soundboard moment. Yeah.
Cannot compute, dude. It's like
That was the best soundboard.
when they get to that point where they're like, that's racist, and they're like, but you said it was white supremacist, and you're like, oh.
But isn't white nationalism racist?
Yeah, that's what. So being against the vaccines is now simultaneously makes you an ally and a
It's
Nazi.
not enough to be anti-racist. You must also be racist while being anti-racist.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where, like, I was very confused at the Zimzer, and now I'm ultra confused at the flip flop. No, I'm joking, because we should commend them. We should commend that chapter for being like, that is racist, right? Because it could be. I don't think it's inherently racist, but it could be.
I mean, at least they're consistent, right?
I mean,
Like, by their own rules, it is discriminatory and racist. So they are at least being consistent.
Right, yeah. At least that one chapter is, right?
Yeah.
Like, because most, what was it? Most of people who are not getting vaccinated are minorities or in kind of like our age
inner
group.
city,
Like,
low income
Right.
minorities.
I saw the statistics on this.
It's
the
weird
other
how
day.
those three
It's so funny.
demographics tend to
Statistics.
skew towards a certain
Uncomfortable
direction.
statistics.
So,
Fuck 'em.
3 shots of vodka is
Numbers
what
are
it takes for
bullshit.
me to like start hitting the soundboard and going off script. That's what we've established. I don't want to host the show,
We
Mitch.
haven't
You're
gotten
supposed to be
the wet
hosting the
part
show.
noise yet.
Yeah. No, I'm
I'm trying to get the
I'm
stat from the
trying not
BBC up.
to. Dude, I just want to apologize to Jeremy Coffin from that untimely fart noise on there. That
You're
was
gonna have to take that up with him, bro.
the definition of a wet fart. Yeah, I'm not doing anything right now. He can come back on the podcast and I'll hit him with it again. That's what it is. He just leaves. He comes
Oh,
on and
man.
then he just leaves.
All right.
All right.
Anyway, if we got some other
What?
stuff on here, if you want me to pull some of that up.
Yeah, go ahead. In the meantime, I know you probably wanted to talk about your favorite guy, Tim Pool. Tim Pool getting swatted and doxxed, right? What's going on with that?
Oh yeah, there's been like a lot of shit going on with the whole. That's been pretty crazy, and there hasn't really been word on what happened. But basically, he got swatted live on the air, and if it wasn't for one of his employees walking outside and seeing the cops before it all happened, they probably would have went in, guns drawn, flashbang, that whole deal.
Holy
That's
shit.
insane.
I mean,
Why did that happen?
Well, he got swatted. It was like when you dock somebody and you tell them the backstory was that somebody called or alerted the police that there was like murders and the dude that committed the homicides was about to kill himself and shared the address, and that's what got the police to the property.
Wow. All right. Oh shit.
Did any
Yeah.
mainstream outlets pick that story up? I haven't seen it anywhere except for like
No.
Libertarian Circle.
they're not going to pick that up.
Yeah.
Tim Pool's pretty mainstream.
I mean, he
Pool
is,
gets more
but it's
views
like-
than the mainstream, right?
I mean, I'd assume he does at this point.
Yeah.
The mainstream news is that 270 scientists, you see that today, about Rogan, have called for his canceling or something.
Yeah, they're going after Rogan again.
Yeah. Sue him. Fucking do it.
I really wish Rogan would sue them. Like, no joke.
No, I mean, I'm saying them. Like, that calling for your canceling is the equivalent of, like, fucking nothing, really. I can't even think of something, but, like, it's basically nothing. If you really have some sort of cause of action, sue him, and we'll see who wins.
How the fuck do they think they're going to cancel somebody with an audience like that? I mean, the amount of people that guy reaches. Unbelievable.
Well, That's what's amazing. It's like, do they really think that they'll cancel Rogan and then everyone will just be like, oh, damn, I guess that means we have to go back to watching CNN?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's
do
a
they
bit
really
like
think that's how it will work?
it's a
Where they
bit like
gotta
the
go?
election. Do they think they, Biden allegedly wins and all the problems in the United States just up and disappear? That the 60 some odd
Magic.
million people that voted for
Orange
Trump
man
are just
dad.
Mhm.
no longer going to
Orange
have the
man
feelings
gone.
that they had?
Everything's good. You know.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
no war in Boston, say.
Right.
Hmm.
I mean, what is
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Like, there's 270 doctors, and how far are they going to push this thing? Are they just going to completely destroy any sliver of faith left that the public has in the medical field at this point? You know, like the damage that they're doing to public trust in medicine with this is just. I mean, it's going to be irreparable damage. How far is this shit going to go? You know.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good point. Especially, I mean, it's a compounding thing just with how the left even views the medical industry, or how they used to view it with big pharma and like the insurance scam, like what is like health insurance, how scammy that is, and how tied in they are with government and the hospitals and that the whole industry like that. So yeah, that's a good point.
Wait. I have a solution for everything. How about we just give more of our money to the government?
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
I heard that solves all problems.
We should totally
Right.
get the Libertarian Party in on that.
I'm sure someone's.
I think it'll be a
I'm sure
really
someone's part of
popular
that.
idea with our people.
No,
I think we
don't you know vaccine mandates are libertarian? There's a libertarian argument for vaccine mandates.
Mhm.
I
You say
can't
that with a straight
believe
face.
If you just let corporations get out of the get out of the corporation's way and let them do what
Hey
they need
guys,
to do.
what if we consider corporations people? I think that's
I think you're
Oh
onto
my
something.
god!
But first, we have to spend the first like couple $1 million on like expanding women's bathrooms in the Boy Scouts of America,
super important.
like
Super important.
places. Yeah, we need to do that. Also at the fire departments and stuff we were talking about up there in Massachusetts.
Like what happened with the left though? When I was a kid, I remember they were, at like the classical liberals were at least like, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, and now it's just obey the rules, and if you don't, you're some kind of heretic, you're spreading misinformation if you don't do exactly what you're told, because trust the science, follow the science. But the whole idea behind science is to be able to question it. So I just don't understand the whole fad. I have no idea. It's so mind-boggling to me.
Yeah,
But I guess it kind of goes with the whole mass formation psychosis, that I've been hearing about more and more lately. What an unbelievable thing, to be going on in the United States. I mean, I never, ever in a million years could have foreseen something like this. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. I think
I miss the Occupy Wall Street left.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they
I
were
do too.
insufferable. I remember that movement was like when I was in high school. They were kind of insufferable then, but I would take those people any day now
Any
over what we deal
fucking
with
day of the
nowadays.
week, right?
even
problem
when
is-
Peter Schiff was getting mad at them, it's like, okay, he's right, but like they're still mad at some people who have like extreme amount of power, right?
The problem is so many of those people became the bad guys too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tim Pool and I can attest for this too. A lot of the shit that ruined Occupy was the woke identity stuff. And when that came into play, that, I don't know, in a way it was kind of like foreshadowing of what was to come, or at least that's how I see it.
I think Heist was saying that even the criminal justice that decriminalized Colorado, somehow that's become woke.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, well, that community is inherently left leaning. Like I'm working with Decriminalized Nature Florida right now. They're the organization. They did work in Denver with the other group that helped out in Denver do that, but they also helped decriminalize 13 other cities in America right now as Decriminalized Nature. So if you guys want to issue coalition, definitely issue coalition with Decriminalized Nature Massachusetts if they're up and running already.
They are.
But
They are.
but like
Dan
We're
is
doing that.
looking into that.
Yeah, there's one in my area in the Pioneer Valley, Bay Staters for Natural Medicine, and in both Northampton and East Hampton, they've managed to get psychedelics at least decriminalized in both cities.
nice. Is it the organization Decriminalized Nature, or is it a different organization?
It's called Bay Staters for Natural Medicine.
Okay.
But they're in cahoots. They work together, and
Good.
yeah, they got some towns nearby us where Brodi and I live near Boston,
Mhm.
and then also the towns they've got psilocybins
Mhm.
were decriminalized in a bunch of cities.
That's great. But yeah, they inherently, like, if you run in those crowds like Dan and myself, and even Mitch,
Yeah, they're very left.
like they're like Republican, we got to get rid of this capitalist greed and stuff like that. But then when you dig deeper, we kind of do want the same thing. Like the guys I'm working with, they're like, we don't want corporate interests coming in and taking over the whole market and like having laws carved out for them, which is fascist, right? We can agree that government playing favorites there with corporations, that's fascism. So I'm like, okay, but how do you do that? Do you want to do it your way and like regulate yourself to death, or do you want to just say, we're going to be hardcore and we're going to have to pass something more libertarian leaning? That's what I'm trying to tell them, and I think it's permeating through the organization. We'll see.
Hopefully, I mean, that's something that I keep on saying is we need to try and really steer these things in the right direction. Like,
and no one has. Like, we haven't been there. So that's the thing.
To kind of build off of what you were saying there, with like sometimes the end result being the same, right? But the means of getting there being something totally different. And I feel like that's where a lot of the divide really amongst us, I feel like that's really where a lot of it comes from. These people that have different ideology and at least different ways of getting to the end result, even though it may be the same thing, maybe just don't understand that the government is the most inefficient vehicle to get anything done.
Yeah.
The free market just in general does quite literally everything better. I mean, it's just a fact. We've seen it demonstrated time and time and time again.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of the divide is, right there.
I think you're right. It's just economics in one lesson, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I think, again, it's also because we, as like a whole national party, have not been there absent or other than the national presidential run. We as a party haven't been going to city council meetings, running people at the local levels, right? And so they just do things, right? They're like, we got money from the government for the Build Back Better. How are we going to spend it, guys? We have to be there saying, no, don't take that money. That is a bribe.
Right.
That's a bribe, and you have to spend it on certain things. No, don't take money. If you're a school, don't take money for this Title IX stuff, that kind of deal, because we've been absent from the political atmosphere because we've been a social club mostly throughout the nation.
I mean,
and that's what
success
the Mises is trying to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the success the Mises Caucus has had nationally. I mean, it's incredible. What we're doing is pretty unprecedented, just basically flipping a whole political party on its head in a very short amount of time. And I mean, you see almost all of the new growth in the party is strictly Mises Caucus. With some strong messaging, we can really get our ideas out there. We can actually really insert libertarianism into the public discourse and start helping people throw off the decades of indoctrination from the state. This is the kind of stuff that none of us are really taught. From, I didn't learn a damn thing about my rights in school. I didn't learn about civil liberties. And these are the things that need to be taught to kids. And the indoctrination system a lot of people don't even realize the indoctrination system comes from Prussia. The American educational system comes from a communist country that basically just teaches you how to be a cog in the system and know your place. And, you know, it's engraved in anybody who steps inside of those walls from the age of 5 years old, and they have their grips on you for almost a decade and a half and longer than that if you go to college or any kind of graduate program afterwards or whatever. You know, and we can really break that cycle here. I think with all of the COVID bullshit in Massachusetts, we went from under 2% of children of school age were being homeschooled. I think we had a 10% jump in homeschooling in 1 year in 2020 or 2021. I mean, that's incredible for 1 year. And, you know, it's really going to help throw off the state indoctrination and help grow a younger population of people that don't have that same kind of indoctrination that they then have to throw off.
Yeah. I'm a little skeptical about the numbers for that too, because a lot of people went remote and started traveling the country, and so one of the only ways to do it is to homeschool your kid. Like I know a friend who did that with her kid. She was like, I'm homeschooling her because the school was doing virtual school, and then you also have schools doing pretty much homeschool now too. So it's like, what do you count? Right. And maybe people filled that bubble. They were like, well, I guess they are at home doing school, so that is homeschool. You don't count for stupid people on polls and surveys, right?
One interesting one, I don't know what state it was in, but one interesting one I read about online was like 5 or 6 parents who were just very unhappy with the way things were going because of CRT. And they pretty much just ended up hiring one of the teachers that quit to basically teach their kids.
I think so. There's somebody really great here, Carrie McDonald, who wrote the book Unschooled. I think she calls that calls it a micro school, where you just do it like in the old days, where the town or like you and your neighbors would hire a teacher, and you would teach your the neighborhood children or the streets children together. You look up Carrie McDonald. She's out here in Cambridge next to us. Has a lot of good work on homeschooling, unschooling, and that type of thing.
She writes for FEE.
Yeah, she writes her fee as well. Yeah. She talks a lot about she really had a heyday in the past year and a half over how government education has kind of really shown its cracks, given the whole COVID response.
Carrie McDonald.
Yeah, it's McDonald, right, Jason?
Yep.
Carrie with a C?
Nope. K.
K.
Okay. Carrie with a K.
As in John Kerry.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Pulling that up.
Carrie McDonald, Unschooled. That's a good one to do. And whenever I said I'm skeptical about that number, I'm not skeptical that homeschooling is better than public education or public schooling now. I'm just skeptical at the amount of people who are homeschooled and if it's going to stay gradually going up. But I will say, Mitch, you had something with CRT. A lot of parents are not happy with CRT being taught or being pushed on a lot of public school districts.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not even CRT. It's the way it's applied to the praxis of learning, which is really more so what people are disturbed by. But
the audio
what's really concerned me is with the Libertarian Party, there's almost like some of these establishment LP people who are siding with the machine, basically. With you just don't want kids to learn about history. It's like, no, that's not what's being taught here, and that's just intellectually dishonest if you're going to treat it as such.
I posted a link in our private chat. That audio book is free, so that's a pretty cool little thing to download now if you're interested, or if you're planning on having kids sometime and you're like, maybe thinking about it.
Great.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, but the whole CRT thing, I think that's one of those things that the LP really needs to capitalize on more. That's
an interesting point, because one of our conflict of interest staffers nationally went into a dispute with with one of our own members, happens to be Mises, principled guy, father against CRT, and there's quotes of her saying she doesn't see a problem with CRT. And this, we mentioned her earlier.
She straight said CRT is libertarian.
Yeah, something loony like that. She's
But
one
she's
of
like,
the,
okay, I mean, even if you think that they are compatible, they're separate philosophies, and yeah.
If I
Tara
had
has
to
brought
guess,
up a
and this
lot of
is,
things that make us raise eyebrows.
and
I mean,
actually,
this is-
he made well-reasoned arguments, and she came back and she said that he was calling her a socialist, just because he mentioned the roots of CRT. It's got its roots in Marxist ideology.
yeah, Marxist critical class theory. in
Exactly.
particular. And Kimberly Crenshaw is very forthright about that. Aside from the one time when she was on MSNBC and she completely dodges the question when asked about if it's Marxist, but she's pretty open about that. Its roots in Marxism, so that's not even like a smear. That's just a fact. Like it's almost like these establishment LP folks, or just like these other people. Are you looking at what it actually is, or what you want it to be? Like you
What
hate
you
the
want it to
right
be.
so much that you wish that it
Yeah.
was this delusion.
Right.
Right. That was her point, more or less.
Yeah.
She'd
Go
rather
ahead,
be
sorry.
delusional. No, she'd rather. Now that you said that, I think she'd rather be delusional, and that's what we've got up here. We have a very left-leaning state, so that's where you'll find people that claim to be libertarians. Well, in her case, she's never claimed to be a libertarian. She was brought in to raise money for the national LP, but she's par for the course up here. So she'll align with those leftist values, whether it's CRT and probably a whole bunch of other issues that we don't even know about.
She doesn't believe in drug decriminalization either, right? As
What
far
the
as
fuck?
I know.
Yeah, I think this is
Right.
yeah, that's
She
what
just,
I've
like-
been told.
My kids and I thought this was America.
I'm sorry. I thought
That's what that
this
is.
was
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
Can I at least ask if her view is, no, we need to legalize and regulate and tax it?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
But
I haven't gotten that over
do you guys
to
have the you need to watch your microaggressions, bro? Do you have that sound clip?
No, I only have 4. I only have room for 4s, and I gotta like manually change them because it's like a portable thing. But you wait till I get some money.
We hear a lot of that up here. Any argument with one of the SC members, whose name I won't repeat, it turns into that. It turns into we're committing. Yeah, we're not watching our microaggressions.
Watch
That's
your
the way it's
microaggression. That should be nowhere in a meeting room. Once you get to that point of just stupidity, it's just like you have thin skin. What am I telling you know?
Right.
I got kicked as a ginger my whole life. Like I'm not here to microaggress on anybody. I'm just telling you what it is.
If they can't handle an insult or a little bit of criticism, whatever it be, how is the membership supposed to trust that they're going to be able to fight the state? The state's ruthless. They can't handle a damn microaggression. What the hell are they going to do against the state?
Yeah,
You know?
they'll literally come out and kill you. And
Right.
Leighton said he's lucky enough to never gone to public or private school. So that's gone to public or private school, only homeschooling and self-learning. Huh? That's why you're so fucking awkward, bud.
So, on the topic though about like microaggressions and all that, I assume you guys have seen that clip of the Democratic Socialists of America.
Yeah.
There's chattering in the background.
Have you guys all seen that? No.
Okay, I will pull
No.
it up because I just pulled it up right here, so I might as
I
well.
thought about that too.
Let
I'm
me
like,
pull this up. This is downright hilarious.
it makes my head hurt.
I am so happy
Get
that I have.
Wait! Don't play it. Don't play it just yet. Don't play it just yet. So you guys know the pain of sitting through an XCOM meeting on a Sunday or Monday night that's 4 hours long, and someone's like debating this thing that doesn't need to be debated. Now imagine doing it within
Like 10 membership levels.
Yeah, but now imagine doing it with all this going on.
And I just want to point out, this is only a 3-minute clip of a 3-minute highlight reel. There's many other moments. There's like a 21-minute version of this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Quick point of privilege once again. Quick point of privilege once again.
Right now.
Hi, James Jackson, Sacramento DSA, he, him. I have already asked people to be mindful of the chatter of their comrades who are sensitive to sensory overload, and that goes double for the heckling and the hissing. It is also triggering to my anxiety. Like, be comradely isn't just for, like, you know, let's keep things civil or whatever. It's so that people aren't going to get triggered and so that it doesn't affect their performance as a delegate, okay? Your need to express yourself is important, but your need to express yourself should not trump or over, like...
I see that no one's clapping for me. It could be because I'm not engaging, but it also is because everyone's doing this, and that's really important because those loud...
I'm sorry, I just realized this now rewatching this, so I'm going to pause. Look, notice how badly this guy is like LARPing the revolution.
Yeah.
Like he has like the olive drab.
Like a poor man's Che, and Che was already poor.
Oh my god, like this is pure LARPing. I swear.
Dude, this
But
shit
this
makes
is
me wanna
real.
just
Like I have to ask, is this
fucking
real?
headbutt a brick wall. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Stop. Holy
Was
shit.
this their national convention? Was this their national convention or something?
Yeah, something.
This has to
Yeah,
be.
it's this
This
national
was
convention
years
on the
ago.
podium.
was a while ago.
2019. Is
Yeah.
that 20? No, it says 2019. Wow,
Yeah,
I
it's
thought that was
2019. Holy shit.
I thought that was like way earlier than 2019. So this is like right before the pandemic, must have been.
Yeah. Oh
Huh.
my god.
Interesting. I would be willing to bet though maybe some of those people are like Republican plants because you could just go and make that shit up, right?
Yeah, you definitely.
I could
That's
be
what
like,
it sounds
I
like.
just want to
he's
point
doing.
out that this gets worse.
yeah, I could be like,
Oh god.
Wait, there's more?
You're gonna make us
What?
say
Wait,
more.
there's
Oh.
more.
I thought the Libertarian National Convention was
wait,
awful.
there's
At least we
more?
only have naked people running up on the stage.
which is way better, right? It's
Yeah,
way more
At least
entertaining.
that's entertaining to some extent.
Uh-huh.
James Weeks, we didn't know what we had until you were gone.
Right.
It's okay. You got Josh Holofka now. I'm gonna get all kinds of up there naked.
Star Child.
Oh god.
Star Child's still
Oh
around.
god.
Mm. Keep playing it though. I don't know.
bursts
If
of noise, even though this is a noisy space. When we can do something like reducing that, that's really important. So please don't clap, shoot up these. We have a lot of disabled comrades, and
Wait.
a lot of those are invisible.
Wait, did he just say shoot up? Oh no, I'm triggered. All right, that's it. All right, that's all I wanted to say. Keep going.
Visible disabilities. You don't know who it is that is having a more difficult time navigating this space, and this space was not created with all of their needs in mind. So it's up to us to modify that space to make sure that everybody is able to move in the ways that they need to move. And additionally, with the noise issue, like avoid hissing, avoid waving banners, right? Because there's all sorts of things. If you don't know what to do, show up these, right? I'm sure there's lots of ways that we can communicate to each other without needing to rely on something that's going to hurt somebody else. We have quiet rooms that are available. There's a range of options of these, right? Please don't go in that space with anything that's like an aggressive scent, for instance, right? Because we don't want to put people in stressful situations that they don't consent to, right? And there are right-wing infiltrators who are trying to get in here, but it's going to be really traumatic for people if we're not making an affirmative effort to de-escalate each other and de-escalate ourselves, right? Take a deep breath. And feel better before you say anything. Don't really talk to anybody who doesn't have a credential, especially if you claim to be from the press. You have no idea who that person is. Please do not talk to anybody who identifies themselves as a member of the press without having credentials. Don't talk to cops. Don't talk to MAGA assholes. we're almost there. Just but thank you. We are going to be visited tomorrow by some MAGA protesters. Is there anybody here who's done abortion clinic escort work? By all means, don't talk to cops if there are cops there for any reason at all, right? And if you do see someone talking to cops, let the marshals
Said something right.
know. We are safe and we are strong because there's power in collective work.
This is very, it's almost satirical. It's almost like this is Spinal Tap.
I'm going to choose to believe that that wasn't real. I'm going to live in the world where that is not real.
I'm going to choose whatever you want, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. You just have to witness that.
My
I don't want that
feelings
guy's job,
override your facts, okay?
Yeah, I don't want
I'm
that
pretty
guy's
sure
job.
not recognizing
Facts don't care about your feelings, bro.
as well. So
You know, the problem was I would love to believe it's fake, but the problem is I know exactly what kind of person that one dude in the wannabe Che Guevara outfit is.
Mm-hmm. Who wants to guess what side of the vax issue they're on?
Oh, I think.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you they didn't have a 20 or a 2021 in-person convention.
Yeah, no, it was definitely probably all live or online, right? Had to be. I'm gonna fact check that momentarily.
Please, oh my God, can you imagine what their Zoom conference was like?
I can't imagine. Yeah. So you say,
Probably
I'm glad you
something similar
prefaced
to
that with like.
Were you guys
in
in hours last year?
At least they don't have aggressive sense when you're online, right? When you're virtual.
Oh, I was about to say, you know how much body odor is going on in that one room? That's gotta be crazy. Gotta be crazy.
Oh man, that was the
I wonder
best
what
tweet.
qualifies as an aggressive stance.
What does that mean?
Well, you know, half of them don't believe in like regular deodorant, so they're just rocking with whatever they found on the street that day. They're like, this is a good flower. I'm just gonna put it in here and here. Yeah,
they're all offspring of the Bernie Sanders commune up in Vermont.
Yeah, Comrade Bernie said there's too many types of deodorant, so they got to pick the flowers as their deodorant.
Mm-hmm.
Walking around smelling like a turd that took a shit. You know?
Yeah, I know. One of them, if they ever see this, is like, actually, real deodorants are very harmful to your body. It's like, yeah, I know, dude, but I don't care. Like, Old Spice smells amazing. My girl loves it. They got me with the Terry Crews marketing. Sorry.
They do have that.
Old Spice has always had the best marketing.
Yeah, they do have real good marketing. I mean, what other deodorants is a man going to be using? Degree.
I mean, you just see Terry Crews like power, and it, nothing else compares to that. It's not even a fucking competition.
I feel like they stopped using him once he came out and said that he struggled with his porn addiction. I thought they were like,
that's a thing.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah.
You didn't hear about that?
No. I thought you were
gonna
say his disdain for Black Lives Matter or something, but no, a porn addiction?
Yeah.
No, he talks about it all the time. He had a major porn addiction that eventually he was masturbating 7 to 8 times a day, and it was negatively.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Is that why he's so muscular?
Reaction, Jason.
You got
just
somehow. I'm imagining a younger, skinny Terry Crews because of all the masturbation.
No, this was Big Jack Terry Crews jerking it. Could you imagine that kind of big buff black motherfucker just jerking the gherkin on a regular basis?
Yeah.
This conversation degenerated quickly.
Welcome to Swamp Pictures, where we take this shit off rails from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, not from the get-go tonight, but typically we do. Let's see. It looks like they do I'm on their DSA convention schedule now. Sorry, taking it back to this. It looks like they did meet in person.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Interesting.
They did what?
They did meet in person. I think.
Really?
They distanced though. They had socially distancing.
Oh yeah. Well, even the
and
Libertarian
NASCAR.
Party did that the first year, 2020. I went to their national thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
do
that
any
weird.
of that shit after the first few days.
The
Yeah,
only
I walked
reason
up.
the Massachusetts socially distanced is because myself and Mike Coombs were the only dudes anywhere that went to the delegation representing Massachusetts, and we happened to be on an outer aisle, so we were involuntarily socially distanced because there were so few of us.
I'm trying to see where like any videos that the biggest video is that the one debacle, which is bad, which is super bad for them. That's terrible.
Wow, yeah.
I mean,
So I mean,
there's more than just that.
party meetings, like formal party meetings, make me second guess like every decision in my entire life. 'Cause
Oh
they're
yeah.
so awful. I cannot imagine dealing with all of that and trying to run a party meeting. It just sounds
I mean,
absolutely
if you can
abysmal.
muster,
Mhm.
I know you said you don't drink, but my God, if you tried to sit through the 20 some minutes, my good Lord, there is like a 20 some minute cut of that. Bless your soul if you manage to even get through that.
It looks like there's a 40-minute clip
Oh,
my
God.
here on Daily Motion, but I don't know. It might not be the whole thing. It might just be some like commentary and stuff. But yeah, I know when I wear Old Spice, I'm not going to masturbate that day in honor of Terry Crews. So
So I
See,
do
now
have
I'm gonna
one more.
masturbate twice.
no, you can't. You can't. You gotta support. You gotta support him.
That issue or
Nope.
no? Still have the guns.
No, I don't have to do shit. I don't know why you're telling me to do things. Now I'm gonna vigorously not do whatever you just told me to do.
So you're just gonna
How
vigorously
libertarian of you.
masturbate.
Hell yeah! Twice every time I wear Old
Twice?
Spice now.
Mhm.
Once for me, once for Terry, since he's not anymore.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, if you're doing it 9 times a day, that is a bit gluttonous. It's like, dude, come on, like, I don't
how
know.
do you even get up to those
Your dick's
numbers?
gotta be sore as hell.
Yeah, yeah. And like, how do
Yeah,
you go to the gym after that? I'd be exhausted. You
I
know
mean,
he goes to
and
the
you have
gym.
all that
I mean, at what
testosterone
point are
running
you
through your
firing
system.
blanks? You know, I'm 9 times a day. Jesus.
Look, I don't even think you're worried about whether they're blanks or not. You're just pulling the trigger and just hoping it fires.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Rob's getting more and more disappointed by this conversation as we continue on. I can tell.
I'm actually really
He's
happy
like,
with the way this I'm really happy with the way this podcast is turning. We could have ended it a long time ago, but we didn't. We didn't, and we're on hour 2.
Shit, I still have one more video here, but I don't know how we're gonna top this conversation.
I don't know, but we can talk about dicks in a minute. Just
I have
we'll
a
go
cop
back.
accidentally shooting himself at a school.
We can.
Go with it.
That's
I can
that's
do
an
this
old
all
one.
night.
It's
That's
an old one.
Yeah,
but
that's an old one.
Here's the reason why I brought it
That's-
back up. I never saw the longer version where after he shot himself.
Okay, go.
And he just keeps on going, bro.
Bro,
He just
this
keeps
What does
on
he do?
going.
like been around since I was in high school.
Yeah, I've seen
What?
this one. I've seen this
This
one.
is like OG YouTube videos. What?
You've never
Mhm.
seen like the extended version? You've never seen like the longer version? After he shoots himself?
Yes,
he's
I
definitely
have.
seen it. Yeah, he's
How
definitely
have
seen
you
it.
not seen it?
That's what
I've
we're
only
saying.
seen like the short version where like he's demonstrating and then he shoots himself. Like,
What kind of crack do you smoking wherever you're from that doesn't watch YouTube?
dude, I didn't have a computer until like
Just
2011.
play
and
it,
That's
just
why I didn't
play it.
discover Ron Paul.
Yeah,
like,
play the video, you poor.
Since you poor.
Povertarian.
Please
keeping the
do
poor
not
man
use
down.
microaggressions on this podcast.
Keeping the poor man down.
This week, at the beginning of the week, a young boy, not even 16 years old, was killed because he was playing with a gun. And see, this is an unloaded gun. Right here, Mr. Cummings. No, can you wait?
Alec Baldwin hands him the
This
gun.
is a Glock 40. 50 Cent, Too Short, all of them talk about Glock 40. Okay, I'm the only one in this room professional enough that I know of to carry this Glock 40. I'm the only one.
Oh, stop it.
What?
No.
Okay, so I just want to point out, like, the version that I had
Yeah.
seen
Oh,
long ago ended, like, right before this. In my defense.
No, that's fine.
Everybody all right?
Oh my god.
In my defense.
Are they retarded in what as well?
You all right?
Oh my god.
He said,
Shucks! Yeah.
He just keeps fucking going. He just...
Yeah, I'm here. Listen up, guys. But, listen up. And I made a mistake. So listen to me. Guys, listen to me. Yeah, listen to me. See that how the accident happened? It can happen to you and you can be blown away. Okay? So guys, never play with guns. See how accidents happen? They happen. Okay, now I'll probably never be able to show guns again. But Brian, bring that other gun out, Brian.
No, bring that other gun. Bring another one out.
No, yeah, Brian, keep that right there. Keep that right there. Brian.
Just asking.
I have baby calling right now.
This is the whole
Bring that other gun out. Hey.
Wait, what? Another one?
No,
Yeah.
bring me another gun. Let's have another demonstration really quick. I just found myself. It's cool. We're good. It's only a little bit of blood, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't be a bitch.
He handles this so well, but it's like, explain what you did wrong. He's like, I fucked up.
Yeah,
But like,
I just
you didn't.
really
You didn't.
going. Like, almost nothing happened aside from that limp.
It's a Glock. I don't have the. I don't have a Glock. So does anyone here have a Glock?
Yeah, I have a Glock.
So you can check just like most like handguns, right? You can check it.
You always
pop
the
it.
chamber.
Yeah, pop it out, check it. It's what he didn't do. So gun safety. I got you. I got you, Brody. It like we're running over the podcast like super long. So feel free. We can wrap it up whenever. We were
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
wrap
I'm
it
in
up
that
if
same
you
boat
want.
too.
yeah, guys.
We got some married men in the audience. They've got Valentine's Day coming up, and Brody's been on the podcast circuit, as you know. So he's a pro at this.
A lot of phone calls.
A lot of phone calls, a lot of collusion, a lot of surreptitious planning going on.
Yeah, we're scheming. We scheme in the background.
You guys gave us a lot of time anyway, so that's fine. We can wrap it up. I should be going as well. That's okay. So follow our guests here at Mises Caucus MA, and also if you guys want to plug anything, go ahead and plug it.
Well, if you're in Massachusetts, tell all your friends about our upcoming special convention. We still have a regular convention in April too, so I know it sounds weird, but the only way to change the party is by joining it and getting involved. The Mises Caucus is doing great things. We, as we've discussed in this podcast, we're, changing the LP to focus on sound Austrian economics, things like, doing away with, ridiculous identity politics, and really changing the messaging of the Libertarian Party in a libertarian direction.
Dan or Jason?
I'm good. That sums it up. Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you so much for having
Thank
us
you.
on. This has really been a good time.
Yeah, it's been
All
fun.
right, sweet. Yeah,
All
no,
righty.
we're having a little bit too much fun there.
All right, well, I guess we'll plug our shit real quick. Go follow me on Twitter at MitchConnorJLo, and go check out the Libertarian Frontier merch store on TeePublic. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'd say follow at Real Swampcast if you haven't already. Stay tuned for Luchadors of Liberty. You can follow me at Luchador Liberty whenever D and I start getting back into it after the bar. So hopefully we'll start putting stuff out too. We might end up on the Swamp Creatures Network anyway, so we'll see how that goes. And come down to the Florida Convention if you're real. On February 25th through the 27th in Vero Beach, Florida, Melbourne area.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Yep. Rob already plugged my plug for the Florida convention, so thank you. If you're not already coming, come. If you're in Florida, you should be there. If you're not in Florida, you need to move and then come. I'm out here at LP Georgia's convention this weekend, so if you're here at all, come say hi to me. I'm going to be there tomorrow for the training and all of the breakout events. I'll be there for business on Sunday. And yeah, follow me at Halafka for Florida and come see what we're doing out here down in the great state of awesome Gator Swampland. Oh, and subscribe to Swampcast Network if you haven't already. I don't know why you're not doing this shit. Get on it, bitches.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for sticking with us, Shannon.
Shannon.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys again.
Thanks for having
Have
us.
a good one.
It's a great time,
anytime.
guys.
All right.
Take it easy.